Tuesday call. I'm Lisa Muth, your executive assistant for Miss Beth, as well as your VA in the background on the GCBN side. And I'm just so glad to be here with you today. I have Christina Johnson with us. Christina Johnson is a GCBN corporate sponsor. She's been with us for a little minute, like a minute, like it's been a while. She's going to tell you about that. It's so funny how in GCBN time flies, time just flies. I have been a member of GCBN since 2016 and time has just flown. It's been amazing. And they say time flies when you're having fun. So we're having fun over here in GCBN. I do want to welcome everyone to the call today. I do want to send love and thanks and compassion from the Copeland family. You guys have shown up and you have loved on them. And I know that maybe you haven't been able to get your hands on them or hug them or see them face to face. They love you and they are here for you. But they're in a time of, you know, a different season for them, right? And so we just thank you for your love and your care and your compassion. If you have not seen Mr. Jerome's announcements yet, you can find that on our Facebook page. And we would love for you, if you're able to attend on Wednesday or Thursday, to be there and support and just all out GCBN support for Miss Beth and for Jess and Romy and the family and for Mr. Jerome. He was, in my opinion, he was Mr. GCBN. And so just to honor him, so thank you so much for just your love. Miss Beth will reach back as soon as she's able to. As you can imagine, there's lots going on and lots of pieces to the puzzle of things that need to take place. And so she's showing up well. Of course, her heart is broken. But we just thank you. We thank you for your love and your prayers. Most importantly, don't forget to pray. Okay, let's breathe. We got that taken care of. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Christina. If you've not met her in person, you need to. Christina's at all the meetings. She's at all of the events. She's a vendor almost every time we have an opportunity to vend. She sells beautiful scarves, and I'm sure you'll tell us that. She has one on her neck right now. They are not just like any other scarf. You have to feel it. Like I grabbed one. I grabbed your calendar. So, Christine, take it away. Let us know who you are, what you do, what your business is, and we can't wait to hear from you.
Well, welcome everybody. It's delightful to be here today, and even despite the circumstances of the past few weeks, so we're still keeping everyone in prayer through this shift of a time. So I am owner operator of Botanical Artisan, and I started out doing fine gardening for clients in the Atlanta area, and it involves mostly container gardens, but a couple of perennial gardens and some detailed pruning and just general, like, detailed garden maintenance. Um, and out of that has come some overflow of what can I do with some of these things that I clip. And so I started printing botanicals onto silk scarves, and so that's taken off. And I also do photography of flowers and insects and things in the garden too. And I make a calendar every year and sell those and gift those to my clients. I've been a member of GCBN, I think, since late 2023. A friend of mine got back from God, Golf, and Girls, and she was just like blown away by it. I'm like, I think I want to be part of this. So, um, I dove in, and it's just been a great time of um just just community, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's in person, which I love. The different opportunities just to gather through the year have been amazing, and also the opportunities to sow back into people who have sown into me. And so that gifting is there, that heart is there with Beth and all of her team, and it's just been such a blessing to be there. And the people I've met, the friendships that have come out of there are just treasured in my heart. So, and my heart just goes out to everyone in this community, because we all knew uh Mr. Copeland and knew that he was so supportive of his wife, and he was there at every event that was not the ladies' event, and standing right by her side, right behind her. And we all knew him, even though Beth was the voice, he was the pillar behind everything. So we celebrate his life this week, and we keep everyone in prayer. So I wanted to talk today about, of course, seeds. And I have a question for everyone to think about and ponder this week. What are you soaking in? Because seeds soak up what's around them. If it's good, clean water, if it's good, clean water, or if it's not so clean water. If it's not so clean water, you're going to poison that seed and it's not going to grow. It's going to sit there and rot. And I have some seeds that I soaked. These are lima beans. This is one I soaked, and this is one beforehand. And they soak up a lot of water. And it really helps them sprout when they've soaked up nice, clean water. Otherwise, they have to sit in the ground and wait until they get enough water to be this size from the surrounding earth.
Christina, that's remarkable. That is remarkable. I don't think I've ever thought about that before. And what a visual, a tangible visual sight that we can see of that. Will you hold that back up again? I just have to
Yeah.
get because it's
I'm
a lima bean.
it's a lima bean, and the kind you eat, like these are ready to be cooked and then eaten, which I might do
Yeah.
later. And then this,
Wow.
it's like 3 times the size.
Wow.
So, and this one, if I were to plant this today, it'd be up and sprouted probably by Friday. This one would probably be like maybe another week or so, just because it would have to soak up the
Mm.
water around and in the soil and all. This one's ready to go.
Wow. That's incredible.
It's really neat because I've done tests before, just like in the seed planting thing. It's like, oh my goodness, that's up in 2 days. Um, so it's a reminder. What are we soaking in? Are we soaking in stress, hurry,
Yeah.
fear, media, conversation, criticisms? Or are we focusing on beauty, peace, truth, worship, the word, gratitude? What surrounds us will eventually soak in. And it also reminds me of the verse, seek and you will find, knock and it will be opened. Because if you're seeking justice all the time for something's been wrong with done, you might find more pain than justice at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to soak in the word, soak in the gardens, soak the gardens if needed. So seasons with God, just in those soaking seasons, it helps soften that hard heart that we get from just worldly stuff. Um, Disappointment will soften pride, waiting softens self-reliance, grief softens certainty, and kindness softens wounds.
Mm.
So we really need to go through these seasons to grow well. And again, think about, what are you soaking in?
Mhm.
And seeds in the soil, they're not harmed by the darkness. Some need dark and some need light. That's why mostly the small ones need light. You just sow those on top of the soil. The ones that need dark, you bury underneath, but they're not harmed by that because they carry life within them. The seed is not dead usually. It just it's just dry and waiting to be soaked and softened so that it can grow and become what it should become. And just have grace for yourself and others during these seasons. They may not be the greatest of times, especially seasons of grief, but they're there. They're there for a reason, and they're not God's punishment. He's not up there laughing at you. He just, he wants to be near to the brokenhearted. He is near to the brokenhearted. And if you soak in those words, he will soften your heart and he will reveal to you exactly what you need in this season. Some
That's
seeds,
so true.
so
No, I was just going to say that's so true. And you had mentioned too, like what you're soaking with or what you're around, that it soaks into you. And then going just a step further, that's also what comes out of you. Like when what you're sitting with or what you're soaking or what you're absorbing, like eventually it comes out of your mouth. The heart speaks, right? The mouth speaks what the heart has. And I'm not doing that verse justice, but you know what I'm talking about. Like it within our hearts, you can't conceal that within our hearts. It comes out. And so I think that's a good reminder for all of us in various situations, because we could be doing everything right. We could be doing we could be going to church every day. We could be reading our Bible every day. We could be in prayer time, but there could be that one thing, that one thing that's our sin that so easily besets us that the Bible talks about that, we're going to get kind of prodded with a little bit, just a little bit, and that comes out. And so it's important to, I also thought of our SHIFT acronym, which I didn't go over, and I can do that and I will do that, but where it talks about uh, future focus and forgive, faith, future focus, and forgive. We have to forgive some things sometimes too, because that also sits with us and it comes out of us. But I see what you're saying too, and that tangible, observation. It's like an object lesson that you gave for us. Sometimes I teach those to the kids. You have things that you help people learn with. Not that we're kids, but just our brains are like, yes, that makes sense. And we're going to remember this lima bean, throughout the week that you shared with us, Christina, because that's a powerful, we are sitting with things, we are absorbing some things. And it's amazing that God created those things. You know what I mean? God created us, God created those things. But he didn't necessarily create the chaos around us. We chose to sit in that. So we have to remove ourselves from that. Yeah. So good.
that's so true. And some seeds benefit from short time, just like a few minutes, but some are okay for a longer time. But if they're left too long, they start to deteriorate. So preparation is good, soaking is good, but lingering in those stagnant places is not. And it just kind of it reminded me of Psalm 1:3. He's like a tree planted by streams of water, but he wasn't planted by a stagnant pond. He's planted by streams, a running, clear stream that is flowing water available whenever that tree needs it. And also, Philippians, again, a verse to soak in this week. Philippians 4:8. Whatever is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable. If there's anything of worthy of praise, think about these things.
That's so good. So good. And I think even in sad times, you can praise the Lord for the things that he's doing, the things that he's done. Sometimes we get caught up necessarily, not necessarily in the praising of him, right? But the things that have the injustice, and we have to think about the praises. I think of the military and moving us. We were grounded and rooted for 8 years in Georgia. We knew we had to move. We knew it was coming, but we knew that there was also purpose in him moving us, and planting us somewhere else, which we're still growing roots there, not like Georgia, but it's okay. But did you hear how I said that? Not like Georgia. So it's that, what do you call it? That resistance that's keeping from the growth. And so, but we can praise in that process, because as a result of us moving, we were able, John, to be with his dad. We were able for him to be with his mom and our kids' grandmother to be around. That's never happened for us to be like literally 20-30 minutes away from us. We're getting used to that. We don't know what that looks like. Oh, we have a grandparent that will, come and visit or cook or, watch the kids. So we're not sure what that looks like. But just even in something that, is shaking, or doesn't seem so solid on the foundation, like there are things that we can praise God for. And I think of Renee, on the call. Renee hosts our prayer call with Miss Beth on Monday. And there are some times that we're just praising him, right? Waiting for the next words, waiting for the next step, waiting for the next thing to pray for. And we're just praying and praising him, and that's okay. We can do that. And he needs it. He's worthy of it. He is worthy of our praise.
That's so true. That's one of my favorite worship songs. Is just all those worthy songs because it's true, and it's like I bet if you're having a hard time this week, you can sit down and you can ask the Lord. If you can't think of anything to praise him about, ask him, say, Lord, show me what was good. What good happened from this? What am I missing that's good that I can meditate on, that I can reflect on, that I can soak in this week? Because he will answer, he will show you either something from previous, or he'll send somebody to show you, or say a word, or a leaf, or a bird, or something. He will honor his word and be close to those that brokenhearted, or the discouraged. Or it reminds me of Psalm 8, that, O Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. I mean, he's creator of everything. And everything we have on this earth came from the earth, even though, a car didn't pop up out of the earth. Everything that's in the car was made from something from the earth, because last I saw, the Lord wasn't sending down catalytic converters from heaven. So,
Here's your garden of catalytic converters. Here's the garden. Here's your garden. Here's some
which, boy,
seeds.
that would be a profitable crop. I could grow those.
Any gas tanks out there? We can plant some gas tanks, preferably with fuel in them. That's funny. It's so true though. You think of Adam too, Adam was made, from the dust, from the ground. He
I know.
created.
I love that one, the version that says dust, because I can work with mud. I can work with dirt, but dust is there's I can't do anything with dust except make something dirty. But the Lord formed man out of it,
A whole person he did.
and
Wow.
and breathed his breath into it, and just it just, again, I see so much when I'm working out in the garden, that it just never ceases to amaze me, and it never makes me question that we have a being that created this, because these things can't figure out stuff on their own. It was intellectual design that made
Right.
everything do this. And
Has always been there. Didn't need any of us. Didn't need it. He didn't create us because he needed us.
that's
He
true.
created us for community. Like I don't really, sometimes I wonder, God, why did you create man? You know what I mean? I'm sure it's written. Renee, maybe you can tell us in the chat. I want to do a poll if I can really quick. I hope I'm not taking you off of your notes, but I'm curious who here has a garden. I'm curious who has, either a vegetable garden or a flower garden. If you're over here on the Zoom, you can chat that. If you're on the Facebook side, let us know. I want to know who has a garden. Maybe you don't have a garden this year, but maybe you had a garden last year, So let us know. And I see Jessica Banner is over on the Facebook side. Hi, Jessica. And we have Kenna Walker over there on the Facebook side. Hi, you guys. Let us know. Do you have a garden or did you have a garden last year? Or maybe we'll even go as far as to say, do you have a plant somewhere around you? Do you have a plant that you love and that you see?
Oh, baby,
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Deborah says, I have a garden.
Great.
Renee, did you have something you wanted to say? No worries, no worries. Okay, Christina, sorry about that. I just wanted to know.
No,
Oh, Deborah.
again, just living plants or just, I mean, but then in my experience, if you think you know everything about gardening, then all of a sudden something funny will happen like December of 2022 when we went from 65 degrees to 9 in 5 days on Christmas Day. It wasn't like I could go help plant or cover plants or anything. They were
Right.
not prepared for that, and we had some damage and we had
Somebody
some
let me know
loss.
that.
Yeah.
So it just really it I think that's why I like it so much because it's ever changing and it's like you kind of have to be aware of, okay, well, it's been warm and dry, so it's like that's spider mites, aphids maybe, it's like you start thinking about what could happen and kind of be prepared for that. And
Mhm.
so
Keeps you on your toes, ready
it
at the
really
ready.
does. It really does. And it's like I've got clients with plants that never get rain. They're under cover. They're outside, but and it's like some plants do well in that, do okay in that, and some don't. It's like you'll
Mhm.
end up with all these diseases. They just need, most of them need that rainfall. So it's so interesting. It never gets old. It's always changing. There's always some new insect or something to find, and it reminds me of the verse Psalm 8:4, when I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars which you've set in place. I mean, I'm always pondering, I'm always looking, I'm always fascinated with what the work of the hands of the Lord has done. And it never gets old. It's always exciting. And I'm always happy to
Even
talk to people
oh, sorry,
about
Christina.
plants.
Even in scripture he talks about the lilies, of the valley and how, he takes care of them. And I think in our businesses, when we take it to also a business perspective too, is that, we are creating businesses, or maybe you have a business already that you've created and you're cultivating something new. And but you can trust God to help you navigate whatever road that is, whatever that looks like, whatever challenge is coming up, or whatever shift that you're about to take in your business, because you can see it tangibly in life and in creation. You can see it in the flowers. There's different seasons for different flowers. Some are annuals, right? And I always get annuals and perennials confused. One is only just one time and one is all the time. But whichever one it is, and you could tell us, Christina, but there is a change in a season for that. But he always helps and is always sending the rain, maybe not exactly when we want it, but if you think about that in your business, maybe there's a time that's a drought and you're like, okay, Lord, what's happening here? You'd called me to this business. I'm called for it. I've surrendered to it. Like I'm in a drought season, and you're praying for that rain. But even in our business, we can take his creation and look at it and as proof and evidence that he loves us and that he cares for us and that he does want things to grow, and he's called us to that business for a purpose to help others, or hopefully it's to help others, but and also, it's not a bad thing to to make wealth. It's not a bad thing. You can help people better when you have more financial authority and ability. And so that's great too. So just taking it too in place of your business, you know, that creation piece, you know, he's creator and he can create some things even in your business if we let him.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, planting things is well. I mean, wheat stands for what? Because you plant that one little wheat seed and it grows up and it's a stalk and it's got, I don't know, 50, 75 more kernels. So you multiplied that 50, 75 times just from that one little wheat, and you multiply that by planting a whole plot of it, you've got an abundant harvest. And so that,
Right.
I mean, that's not just like about gardening, it's about us and again our finances, our money, our hearts. It's like the Lord doesn't want us to be poor, because again, he's not sending $100 bills down. At least I haven't seen it rain $100 bills. um so he doesn't need us, but he wants to use us, because out of that giver's heart we are blessed as well. So he wants us to be able to be like, oh, you need some money for this. Oh, here, let me take care of that. Or, oh, let me sow into them so they can help sow into a lot of other people that I
Yes.
wouldn't be, that I don't reach because I'm maybe physically here and not physically where they are. Or, there's, and it's so much with, I mean, even though sometimes media stuff, but with 2020 and this Zoom stuff. I mean, come on. I've got friends all over the world now. I would never have met most people I know at the moment without Zoom. And it's like, what the enemy meant for harm, the Lord has turned for good. And I can see that in many things. And
Amen.
I'm thankful and I praise the Lord for that kind of vision. I'm thankful for him and his goodness in that verse is one you can stand on. And even it might not be sudden. You might not see the goodness of the Lord and do that suddenly, but
Yeah.
you will see it. He will make good on that. So
Yeah. It's so good. So good. I think of when you were talking about with the giving, I've always heard, not always, but like in multiple, we're military, so we travel a lot to different, different churches, either where we've moved or if we're traveling. And so, if it, and I've heard it multiple times said that you can't outgive God. You just can't outgive him. You should try. If you have a barrier there in your giving and you're like, well, I give to the church or I get, but if you're giving just to give and you're not giving to honor him or to, there's a purpose and a reasoning behind that. But if you've not tried that, you should try that because you can outgive him. Like it's going to come back, if you're giving in the right way, with the right heart. And so I think of Miss Beth, and her late mom would say, giving is the highest form of living, is what she says. And then Beth added, how high are you living?
I
Giving
love
is the
that.
best. Yeah, giving is the best form of living. How high are you? No, hang on. Giving is the highest form of living. How high are you living? And so, and just think about that for a moment, what all that God gives to us, even just in the first 10 minutes that you wake up in the morning, maybe you hear the birds outside before you get out of your bed, maybe the wind's blowing, maybe you take a deep breath, you get a glass of water, or maybe you have a water bottle sitting by your desk or your bed, or your side table, you get a drink of water, you put your feet down on the floor and you walking, you have feet. Like just in the first few minutes of you waking up, it's evidence of him and the things that he's given to us. And so I just think it's neat. And I think it's neat that he gives us the beautiful things of the garden. You know what I mean? To remember him and recognize him, but then also because they are beautiful. I love me some hydrangeas. I love them. I'm I'm struggling a little bit in the
Oh,
Texas. in the
I
Texas
was
heat with
gonna
them.
say, I think you're in Texas, and boy, it's hard for them out there.
They don't like it. They really don't. And then when you go on vacation and they get forgotten about and you come back and they're not alive anymore, it's very sad. But but I tell you that to tell you like they're beautiful and I love it. And when I go out and they're blooming, this year we had pink and I was like, oh, but I think they've not survived several times since we've been there in 2 years. I really think so, um, because it's just hot there, and if you forget to water them, that's a problem.
They are a good indicator plant. If you look out and your hydrangea's wilted, everything else needs water too. So you water them and usually they perk up. Now, the Texas heat, I don't know. If they're crispy and dry, then they're past the point of perking up. But
Hmm.
it has been a beautiful hydrangea season this year. I mean, I have had surprise after surprise because I wasn't sure because we had a little cold spell and more, and so you sometimes you don't know if they're gonna make it through that. But
Yeah.
thankfully, the buds were small enough when it was cold, they didn't get damaged, and
Mm.
so it like
So
they're
beautiful.
stunning. I love them, and the bees have to work for their pollen because the the part we see is usually not the part with pollen. They have to go in underneath there, so it's always cute to watch the bees. They know exactly where to go. They land on that flower and they go diving in, and
So cool.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
Even
really,
even even just even in pollinating flowers, like just how in the world did I would have never thought, okay, I need a little bee with some little wings to go to this plant and that plant, and he's going to pick up a little bit of pollen and he's going to take it to that other little plant. And I would have never thought that, but God did. And I just think it's cool.
no, his ways are higher than ours, and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know.
Yes.
I mean, and I see so many of the circles, the circles of life, and just the things he's put, he's made everything. Like even mosquitoes, they are a food source. Most of those little tiny things are a food source for something larger. So, and I mean, it's got to eat something. So, and as annoying as mosquitoes are, I mean, bats are great at consuming them. And I mean, just again, it's just all these little circles end up into the big circle. And it's fascinating. It never gets old.
I think you have just asked the age old, I mean, you have just answered the age old question, Christina, that everyone asks. Why are there mosquitoes? And Christina just answered it right here on the GCBN podcast, on the GCBN channel. Now you don't have to worry because there's a life cycle of them and bats eat them. And so that's good because I'm always like, especially in Georgia, because we lived in middle Georgia past the gnat line, like literally like right by the gnat line. So you're out talking and gnats are flying in your eyes and your mouth and you're like, why, God, why did you create these things? They're a nuisance, but it makes sense because somebody's going to have to munch on them to be able to do the next part of the growing for the other animals and things like that. So right here you heard it first. I'm going to have to clip that and share that because that's an age old question. We have some comments on the Facebook side, Christina. We have Dee says she has two plants. One is a desert rose and it hasn't bloomed yet, and one is kale. That's cool. That's good.
Awesome.
Okay, Jessica says, "Hey friends, I do not. Hang on, I do not, but have. Okay, she doesn't have a garden, but she has a fairy garden of succulents. That's awesome. They're pretty. Although
Yeah.
I managed to. Those didn't last either. I struggle. I struggle with them.
Oh man. I know Texas gardening. That's got to be you got to amend that soil, amend it because I feel like it's sand over there.
It is. Yeah, it is. And there's water shortages too. So you have to really depend on the rain. But if there's no rain, you can't use the water except on Monday. So it's kind of funny. Oh, Jessica says, love that the seed is protected in the darkness and in the pressure of the earth. Mm. Bring that out to our perspective in our life. Protected in the darkness and pressure in the pressure of the earth.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
goodness.
All right, Christina, do you have anything else you want to share with us?
No, I just want to leave you with the visual again of these seeds and how much they soak up and
Oh,
how
Lord.
different they are when they're soaked and when they're not. And just think about that when you're scrolling or something like that and stuff starts irritating you. It's like, maybe I need to get out of this app and go to my Bible app.
Yes. Yes, we waste a lot of time scrolling, and that's what it's designed for. If you don't know, you should watch a series about it. They made it that way so we can be addicted to it. Christina, if you have time sometime today or even tomorrow, will you take a picture of those and post it under this video?
Oh,
Just so
yeah,
we or even just on the GCBN page, just so we have a picture of what that looks like because I can see it here, but just maybe those who didn't join the call, maybe they will come back and watch the call and be able to learn and glean. So that's so great. Thank you
cool.
so much for sharing that. I'll if anything else pops up, I'm going to do announcements. If the Lord is like, tell them this, you tell us this as soon as I get back from announcements. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, let me get over to the right spot and I'm going to share my screen. I do want to share the SHIFT acronym with you guys. Um, and I forget to do that. So don't tell Miss Beth. She does so good on these calls and I'm trying, but I forget every week to go over the SHIFT acronym. So I'm going to show you guys that first. If you don't know what the SHIFT is and you're like, why are you saying the SHIFT acronym? What does that even mean? Um, we have an acronym every year that God gives to Miss Beth. And it's remarkable. It's pretty incredible. I'm trying to find my share screen. There it is. Okay. Um, and we've had various different ones. We've talked about let me see if I can slide this over so I can read it. We have had higher, we have had the year of elevation, we have had stand, we have had, there's various ones over the years. This year is shift. Um, what I have found for Georgia Christian Business Network and soon to be Global Christian Business Network is that God is working this out through Beth's life even before she shares it with us. And you can bet that this thing has been prayed over. It has been vetted. It has been, are you sure, God? It has been deep in prayer, lined in Bible, scripture, pen on paper. Like this has been fully vetted for you. And we're not even all the way through the year for shift yet. We've gone through every one of them and what they mean, but we're going through them again. And you will find in December, if you're serious and you're with us in December, you're going to start speaking this out, which is exactly what Christina shared with us at the beginning of the call, is what you're sitting with or what you're soaking in. It is going to expand you. It is going to, it's going to be part of you. And I know for Stand last year, it was a part of me. And every speaker that I heard, because I facilitate when Miss Beth is leading the call, just every speaker that I heard had mentioned some part of the shift in their presentation. And it wasn't intentional, like I'm talking about the shift. It was just naturally and in conversation, or if we were at God Golf and Girls, like it just naturally came out. And so you'll find that for the shift. So it's an acronym that God gives to Miss Beth. And this year the acronym is shift. And what the acronym is. And Beth speaks in acronyms when she gives a presentation. And I love that. When I very first met her, she gave an acronym and I thought this is so unique. And it is a great way to remember it and to apply it because you're thinking about that acronym. And I love how he uses her to do that. And so the S in shift is surrender stale systems. And that is the core part of that is your belief system, your operating system, your regulating system, and your navigating system. If you guys want to screen share this so you can catch those verses and read those verses later, you can most certainly do that. The H is heightened heartbeat for him. We want to have our heart tuned to him. Whatever is said, done, whatever we're doing, whatever business encounter that we're in, we want that heartbeat for him to be so strong that he's leading you. The Holy Spirit is leading you to do the things that you need to do. And so our heartbeat has to be heightened for him. The next in the I in the shift, which is that gear shifter, it says ignite intentional and influential impact. very similar to what Christina's already shared today. And isn't it cool how God just brings it back in a full circle, is that you are who you hang with, right? And you have people in your influence that you are influencing and that are influencing you. And so we want to be intentional about that. We want to ignite that and intentionally, okay? And we want to have that influential impact in others, and then watch who we are impacting as well. And so that's the I in shift. The F is faith forward, future focus, but don't stop there, because you also have to forgive. And I say have to because a lot of us don't want to. A lot of us are like, this happened and I can't. And that's where we need to get some help, right? Because in some form or fashion, that is not only harming others, it's probably not even harming others. It's most certainly harming you, because it hasn't been released, it hasn't been let go. And so forgiveness isn't for others, it's for you to get that right with God so that you can live peaceably with yourself and then others as well. I've heard it said, unforgiveness is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. And if you're in that situation, reach out. We have Living Well Wednesday on Wednesday that we have counselors on the panel. Jessica Banner's over on the Facebook side. She's dedicated and is on our platform for that. We have people within our organization that are coaches. Miss Beth is a coach, of course, give her the time. But we have so many different people within our organization that can help you with that. And it's important to be able to forgive. And that is hard. It's very hard, but that's why Miss Beth put it in there, because we can look faith forward and we can be future focused. But if we still have that unforgiveness, it's going to hinder where God is taking you in your business. And so we want you to be free and we want you to be able to forgive. The T in shift is transition truth to trust. Last year we had, I forgot it, and it's okay. But we also had a truth part of our acronym. This is different. We're transitioning the truth. Oh, last year I think it was just truth to trust. We're transitioning from just the trust piece, and we're taking the truth to trust. So we're transitioning truth, right? And we're going to trust. And if you're curious about what that looks like, go back and watch Dr. Dawn Kerr's video that she did on Transformation Tuesday. I think it was, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, because my days are kind of getting a little twisted, but she beautifully talked about that. Transition truth to trust. And so that is our SHIFT acronym. We are trying to live this out. We are walking through this together as an organization, and that is our SHIFT acronym. So if you hear Ms. Beth say SHIFT, or you hear somebody in the organization, that is exactly what we're talking about, is this piece right here that we're all learning together. Okay. I want to share our events with you. If you go to our Facebook page, there we are. Hi, Christina. We're going to go to our Facebook page. It'll look a little bit different than what you have here, because I'm on the, oh no, I'm not on the admin side yet. Okay, so this will look exactly the same. You're going to scroll down underneath the photos and you're going to hit more, the more tab, go to events. And this will give you our events for Georgia Christian Business Network, for GCBN. We have a prayer call every Monday. Miss Renee Salvery, or Minister Renee Salvery, and Miss Beth lead that call. There's no promotions, there's no teaching, there's no training. It literally is a time of corporate worship for you to come, to share your burdens, to pray for others, to love on each other. And it is powerful. So put that on your clock and your calendar, not your clock. Put that in your calendar at 9 a.m. on Monday. Every Monday, even on holidays, we'll be there praying. So I don't know that one's been canceled at all since Miss Beth started a couple of years ago. So there's also a prayer letter that Miss Beth sends out. Occasionally the team will pick up and send one as well. So you can, if you're not on our newsletter, email info@gcbnetwork.com, info@gcbnetwork.com, and we'll get you added to that list. And that will have the prayer letter and any of our newsletters that we send out. Rose sends 2 newsletters a month. And it just shares most of this information that we have, and then any additional information. And then there's always a letter either from Miss Beth or from Rose, just for you personally as a member of GCBN. So today we have Transformation Tuesday. You can see Miss Christina's there. We have the first Friday noon nugget every month. On the first Friday of the month, we have a presenter that comes and gives us just a nugget, just a little taste, and it's going to be something tangible that you can do for your business or your life, and be able to work that out and walk that out throughout the weekend and throughout the week and throughout the month. And so this week we have the honor of having Larissa Jean with us. If you do not know Larissa, she's a light in a dark world. She's beautiful. She does our liturgical dance at God Golf and Girls most every year that I recall. She has a business called the Gift Center, and they help. It doesn't. Yeah, that was a calendar. I was like, maybe that changed it. She has the Gift Center, and what she does is she helps gifted students be able to plan for their future in college, and she has just such a gift to do that. And so, if you haven't met her yet, make sure that you tune in and watch that on Friday, and you'll be able to connect with her. This Saturday we have our golf clinic. We have Christina. No, you're Christina. I'm sorry. Christian Haley. Christian Haley. Are you coming too, Christina? You can golf with us. Christian Haley is going to be on platform with us, and she's going to be our golf enthusiast for the day. She's going to teach us about golf. And if you don't golf, I don't want you to be like, oh, stop listening. Don't do that. Don't stop listening, because that's what I did. The first year I heard about God Golf and Girls, I stopped listening. And I was like, I don't golf. That's what I said. I'm like, if you've been to GGG, you know, like I had a problem because I said, I'm not listening. Golf, I'm not listening. God Golf and Girls is so much more than golf. It is golf. There's a little bit of golf in there. There's a lot of girls in there. There's a lot of God in there. But a portion of our day on Saturday is golf. So what we do in preparation for God Golf and Girls is we have a virtual golf clinic. That virtual golf clinic helps you see what God Golf and Girls is about. It allows you and hopefully will help you to bring some people with you to the call that may be interested or may have said at one point, yeah, I'd like to go, but bring those buts with you. The ones that said, but I don't know, but this, but bring those ladies with you to the call, because they're going to learn so much about what the event is about. They're going to hear some testimonies. We are giving some prizes away. So that'll maybe a carrot for them to dangle, and maybe they'll win a prize. You'll hear from Dr. Jess on our marketing and our tickets and things like that. And then of course, Christian will be sharing how to golf. And you're like, how do you golf from your seat? There are tips and tools that she's going to share us that we can even do at home to help us do some golf. And so that's exciting. And then we do have, I mentioned Living Well Wednesday. That's on Wednesday of every month, and it's at noon. This week we will have a replay because we have Mr. Jerome's services, but next week it'll be live. But this coming week, you'll hear a replay from our Living Well Wednesday panel from May, and it was a pretty powerful call. So make sure you tune into that if you're not going to the services, or tune into it later. We hope you'll be at the service if you can, and we understand if you can't, but yeah. And so that is our lineup. You can always find the events out here. You can also go to Georgia Christian Business Network. No, it's not called that, Lisa. It's called GCB Network. And this is our website. You can find, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I did that, but I forgot. Lord help us. Okay. Photos from the year and past, so you can see, what is GCBN about? What is this organization? What do they do? And you can see some of that. Of course, we tell you who we are and what we do. You'll meet our upcoming events here. You'll see that. You'll see our team. So you can check out our website, gcbnetwork.com. If you are going to God Golf and Girls, at the very top, there's a tab called GGG 11. Click on that and it'll take you to our God Golf and Girls page. And you can also share that out. If you'll help Miss Beth be able, and Jess and us and the team, to be able to share GGG out, because of course, you know, that's coming up. That will be super helpful. And we want it to be, and it will be powerful. Because it's our 11th year. Can you believe it? 11 years of God Golf and Girls. I'm so excited. Okay, I think that is all of the announcements. Christina, do you have any final parting words for us?
Well, I just have to say, because Beth has been doing the acronym thing, I decided to get on that bandwagon and do one for myself. And I would encourage you, you know, you don't have to wait till the end of the year, but it's usually November, I just start asking the Lord, okay, what's my word for next year? And usually it was just a word, but then after this acronym thing. I'm like, all right, Lord, give me a whole acronym, not just a word. I want an acronym. So mine this year, the word happened to be amend, which is quite appropriate for me. So I can share that with you if you want.
Yes.
A is accept his adoration. Sometimes words we don't want to open our hands and accept what he has for us.
Mm.
Mindfulness of the moment, to be present, not be soaking in. Um, exemplify Emmanuel. Notice Holy Spirit nuances and dive into his desire. And that's
Wow.
been really powerful to live from. And in times, when you're down or whatever, you just look at that. I have it on a little color note on my phone, and it's like I open that up. It's like, okay, yeah, I need that today. Mindfulness of the moment.
Mm, that's powerful. That is a great acronym, and I'm so glad that he gave that to you because I think I'm gonna have to go back and read that again and type it out so that I can have it too. Thank you for sharing that, Christina, and thank you for sharing your afternoon with us and giving us some great things to think on and to challenge us, to really live for him and to do different if we're not doing what we need to do. And there's beauty in the garden, and it's God's garden, and how we
Yes,
can garden with him through life and literally in the garden.
yes,
Thank you so much.
true. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Well, over here on the Zoom side, I just want to give our Zoom present or Zoom partners here a shout out for the Facebook side because y'all can't see them, but we can see them. We have Deborah Waters over here with us on the Zoom side. We have, of course, Renee Salvery. She's so faithful to be here on Wednesdays with us and on Tuesdays, and so and of course Monday. So we're thankful for that. And we have, of course, Christina Johnson with us. Renee mentioned on the chat over here, she says, we need that Holy Spirit to rain on us in order to soak. And that is so powerful. I missed that earlier. Then I'm just going to check the Facebook side and make sure that we don't have any other comments. And if you guys need anything or you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Rose or myself. We'll be glad to help you however we can. We are filling in for Miss Beth until she returns. And of course, we want to give her that space, but we have several comments over here on the Facebook side. I think I have mentioned most of those. Yes, Dr. Don Kerr was last week. Thanks, Jessica. That was a good call. This is a good call. Share this call out. I keep calling it a call because you have to call into the Zoom but you know what I'm saying. The podcast, the presentation, the platform. All it takes is just click that arrow and it'll take it out and put it where it needs to be on your wall or share it with a friend in Messenger. And that will help us to be able to share what we're doing here and share Christina and her business. Christina, at the end of the call or sometime today, if you have time, if you will put your information out on that Facebook video underneath, just so they can connect with you later. They can become your Facebook friend or visit your website or whatever it is that you want them to do and take action on. You can share that over there on the Facebook side for us in the comments, and that will be helpful. Thank you, Dee, for being on Facebook. Thank you, Jessica Banner. We love you. We are here for you too, girlfriend. And if you all need anything, we do have men in GCBN too. We keep saying women of God and girlfriends, but we do have men of GCBN, of course, and you can see that on our cover photo here. And we do an event in the fall every fall for the men. Jerome Wilson usually leads that out for us, and we have presenters that are powerful. We have Ursel Charles, who is with the Dale Carnegie. I think he's a vice president of training or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to say it wrong, but he is with the Dale Carnegie Foundation and is a friend of Miss Beth, and he came the past several years. Of course, we have Bernard Levitt, and they have the funeral home here in Lawrenceville, and I think another town. We have several other powerful, powerful men of God that are just doing great things in their organizations and in their sphere of influence. And so we're thankful for our men of GCBN Mr. Jerome will always be our Mr. GCBN. And so we're thankful for that. And we love him. And don't forget the services on Wednesday if you can make it. Those are pinned in our Facebook page and our Facebook group. You can find that information there. And if you guys need anything in the time being, just reach out. We're here. All right. We love you guys. We're here for you. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Thanks, Christina. You did great.